Hey guys, Zach and Andrew Bull Sartori here. Excited to be joining y'all this evening. We wanted to pop on just really spontaneously because they were both wearing tank tops. I just got back from the gym and Andrew's just been getting some work done. And we're getting ready to travel to New York City tomorrow for World Pride. Super excited to be marching in the Pride Parade, and it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, we've got a presentation we're going to be doing.
Yep.
The Gay and Sober Men Conference.
Yeah.
Be fun.
Talking about energetics, energy levels, and yeah, really excited about that. It says a few people are joining us, but we're not getting notifications. Type hi in the comments below if you're joining us, so we can interact with y'all. And yeah, we wanted to pop on today, and I noticed that we've been having some questions in the group about whether or not people can feel complete if they're single, whether or not people can truly thrive unless they're in a relationship. And so that's what we want to talk about today.
So the question we posted is, do you have to be in a relationship to thrive? And the simple answer to that is no, you don't. We know a lot of men who are in relationships who might be anything but thriving, and there are a lot of single men out there that are thriving and really happy in their lives. So just to answer it simply, the answer is no. Okay, there we go.
Now it's showing up. Hey, Whitney. Hey, Ross. Hey, Danny. Hey, Seth. Hey, Robert. Steven. Steven, we'll see you in just a few days in New York. Jacob, Michael, if you guys say hi, I'm glad y'all are here with us.
Yeah, and so I wanted to talk about what does it actually mean to thrive, right? Because it doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you are in a relationship, but Absolutely. It can be part of it. So
Absolutely.
I mean, so thriving to me means living authentically. You're happy when you wake up in the morning. You're feeling fulfilled about the day when you go to bed at night. You're taking good care of yourself. You're feeling good in your body. You have great relationships, great connections. You feel connected to the world, and like life is fun. Like you enjoy life. You enjoy the work you do.
Yeah,
these are
exactly, and that's not dependent on someone else. No one else can make you feel any certain way, and that's something that we really encourage you guys to understand. Something we can't express enough, that our happiness comes from within. We're the only ones who can determine our happiness. And last night, as you guys know, we have a group coaching program called Energetic Attraction Coaching. And last night on the group call, in fact, one of the members of the group actually asked about this idea of whether or not someone can complete someone else. And basically, a friend of his, long story short, was basically giving up on whether or not he would ever be able to find someone. And so they had a discussion about whether or not we're completed by another person. And so he asked me about it. And it's a really excellent topic. That whole Jerry Maguire, "you complete me," was a huge disservice to all of humankind, because no one can complete anyone else. And in fact, for us to thrive and to thrive in a relationship, we have to feel whole and complete with who we are as individuals. Everything starts from within, and we can't encourage that enough, guys.
Right. If you're approaching a relationship feeling like I need you, like I need you to make me feel better, like that neediness is not going to be good.
And you said it, neediness. Yeah, exactly. That neediness, that needing energy, feeling like I need someone to fix me, means there's something incomplete. There's something that needs to be addressed internally. It's like when we're feeling unhappy, a lot of guys can tend to find Band-Aids to make themselves feel better. We work with a lot of guys who distract themselves. They will just think, oh, I'm just going to sleep through this. I'm just going to watch TV. I'm going to eat a lot of food to fill this void. Or I'm going to find someone that can make me feel better about who I am. And this is a huge, huge misconception, because like Andrew said, no one can complete you. You have to feel whole with who you are. You have to love yourself first, so that other people can love you, so that you can fully be loved.
Right. And when you're approaching things that way, you're going to come from a place of like pursuing, chasing, like reaching and grabbing. But when you can come to that state of wholeness yourself, and you feel amazing, then it's more attracting. And and things happen naturally and organically.
Mhm.
And but I do want to talk about how relationships do fit into this, because so first of all, you're born perfect the way you are, and you're born with certain desires that are in your heart.
Yeah.
And we believe, like, we don't create our own desires. Like, they're just in our heart for a reason. And
I just want to emphasize that. Okay, we can't stress that enough. You are all perfectly made, and we've had a lifetime of experiences to try to convince us otherwise. We have all been. It's like external society can start to cause you to shape these stories you have about yourself, and that's when your ego starts to really create this misconception of who you are and create some core wounds, and they really begin at an early age. But we're created perfectly, each and every one of us.
Yeah, and it's when we get trapped by these core wounds, these fears, these doubts from past experiences. That's what blocks our energy and can make us not thrive. And yeah, desperation is not sexy.
Robert
That
says,
is correct.
Yeah.
But so like I was saying, like, as gay men, and I know there's bisexual, pansexual men in here too, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, you have desires in your heart, and so, like, we're attracted to other men, and we can't change that with our brain. Like, that's how we were created.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're magnetically drawn to men, and as human beings, like, we're not designed to want to live alone. Like, we're designed to be social creatures, to live in harmony with people we love and care about, to have intimate relationships. And so when you're thriving, when you're being authentic, when you're really confident in yourself, and your heart has these desires to have an intimate relationship, then it's going to happen naturally. It's going to happen organically, because, like, that's how you were created and designed, to want that and to have that.
Yeah. And relationships are an absolutely beautiful thing. That's why we teach what we do, the energetic attraction formula, really helping guys first thrive on their own, thrive in who they are, thrive as individuals, so that they can trust being their beautiful, authentic self, so that they can show up fully. And life is more fun when you're in a relationship. It's something that's a beautiful experience. And yeah, hell yeah, I would be really bummed out if Andrew woke up tomorrow and said, hey, I'm not feeling this, Zach, anymore. I would definitely feel sad. But you know what? I would still be okay. I would still thrive, because I'm complete with who I am. Andrew doesn't complete me in any way. We are growing together side by side, but he's not filling voids. Well, maybe in a sexual way, but that's a whole nother story. Sorry, my mind is dirty. But he's not completing me in any way. Andrew is not completing me. I'm not completing him. We're complete as individuals, and that's why our relationship is so successful. We're not growing together as one. We're growing side by side in a beautiful way. Right. And we're on this growth journey, and life is exciting.
And I want to talk about it from a spiritual perspective. Relationships are very spiritual to me. And because ultimately, like, we're here on this planet to learn lessons. We all have certain lessons we're here supposed to learn. We all have our own curriculums. We all have our own challenges. And relationships are one of the biggest tools we have to learn and grow, to face our fears, to go from fear to love, to raise our energy. And another question we got was, well, if someone can't complete you, then why do people say, oh, I'm a better person because of you? And so first I want to say, you're already perfect, so you're never ever going to be a better person than you already are today. Like, I'm just as good as I always was. Zach's just as good as he always was. We all have the same inherent value as human beings.
But sometimes other people help us see it. Andrew has helped me see my greatness and help pull it out of me. People, relationships are beautiful and they're important, but he hasn't created anything that wasn't already inside of me. Energy can't be created or destroyed, but it can be transferred. And also, I just want to add, if any of you guys, we're talking about some high level stuff. If anybody has any questions, type them in the chat box so that we can interact with y'all as we're going through this.
Yeah. So like I was saying, like, we're all here to learn lessons, and And relationships are challenging. They are one of the hardest things, especially a romantic relationship, a marriage. It is the hardest thing a lot of people will do, because you're living with someone else who thinks differently than you, who has different fears than you, different triggers. And subconsciously, we actually attract people, and we're attracted to people that are going to trigger our wounds and our challenges.
That makes a lot of sense.
And yeah. And so it's hard. It's fucking hard. But that's where the growth happens. And so being in a relationship with someone who's different from you, who challenges you, it's gonna force you to grow more as a person than you would on your own. So
that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
because we are so night and day different. and Andrew helps me realize, just by being himself, he challenges me in really beautiful ways, because he doesn't think the same way that I do. He doesn't communicate the same way I do. I'm a really intense, really loud, really just inherently impatient, just kind of direct person. In fact, when I'm excited, sometimes Andrew thinks I'm yelling at him. And so I have to stop and think, like, how am I showing up? And one thing that makes our relationship so successful is our ability to communicate, because we understand that we both have different styles. We show up in different ways. And even though we butt heads sometimes, because believe me, guys, we don't always see eye to eye. You know, we own a business together, we live together, we work together, we sleep together. You know, there's going to be some speed bumps, but
a lot of speed
bumps. But the beauty of our relationship is we welcome those speed bumps, because they make us stronger. We don't just see the silver lining. We welcome those, because even though in the moment we're not in a high vibe energy when we're disagreeing, but we can always come together afterwards, really truly want to see and hear the other person, and be able to find, you know, a win-win situation out of it, where I feel like I understand you more deeply. I feel like I understand more about who I am, actually. And it just works out so beautifully.
Yeah, it really does. And I've learned a lot of hard lessons. So I tend to be more of the needy one, the clingy one. And like, when there's friction, when there's pain happening in a relationship because, oh, Zach's not acting how I want him to act. Well, I can't force him to act how I want him to act. So it's, well, I better look at my own shit. Yeah. Like, why am I upset about this? And what do I need to do differently so this isn't a problem anymore?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. And that's where, like, it really circles back to the whole point of this conversation, which is, you know, when you're in a desperate energy, when you're in a needy energy, when you feel like something's missing and you want to feel complete, it's not a relationship that you're seeking. There's something within yourself that you need to take a look at, because some part of you isn't completely satisfied and fulfilled with who you are. And like we said in the beginning, we're each perfectly made, and we have a lifetime of experiences that have shaped the way we see ourselves. There's lots of times we've either been embarrassed or felt rejected or felt hurt or left out. And each one of those times we can create a little story in our subconscious mind that tells us we're not good enough. And when we believe that in a subconscious level, it affects how we show up, and it can cause an emptiness. It can cause a longing to feel fulfilled. And a lot of guys are searching in the wrong places, whether it be, you know, sugary, sweet, salty foods to make you temporarily feel better, or sex, or hookups, or looking for a relationship. Those relationships will be dysfunctional if you're not complete with who you are, if you're not satisfied with who you are and love who you are and appreciate all that makes you you, because you are each a perfectly unique child of God. I'll go ahead and say it. And whether you believe in God or the universe, I believe we're all connected in a really beautiful way, and we're all here for a reason. And when we're able to really tap into what makes us special, we're able to show up in such a beautiful way. And that's when you're shining your light bright. That's when you're radiating the energetic attraction that Andrew and I talk about. And that's when beautiful relationships are formed, because like energy attracts like energy. And when you're shining bright, you're going to attract someone else who's on the same level, someone else who is also complete and whole with who they are. And that's when beautiful relationships are formed.
And when you're both in a good energy, like literally it's, you come together and the energy goes up. But if you've got a high energy person, a low energy person, it's going to cancel out. It's not going to feel fulfilling for this person. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a tricky process. It's not a simple thing. In fact, we work with a lot of guys who are, in fact, struggling with, dealing with people who have low vibe energy, and they want to stay high vibe. They've worked hard for it, but like energy attracts like energy. And sometimes when people are showing up in a low vibe level, it can actually magnetize and draw out the low vibe energy in you, and you can meet them there. And that's when a lot of problems can happen. But Andrew and I are flying out of town. But when we get back, we'd love to, set up some time to really talk to some of you guys. I know a lot of you are wanting to learn how to become more energetically attractive. You're wanting to learn how to, really tune into who you are, really appreciate yourself and your beauty so that you can feel more whole and fulfilled with who you are, so that you can attract.
A lot of men want to get married too,
and a lot of men want to get married. Yeah. So in order for that to happen and it to be a successful marriage, you've got to fix whatever dysfunctions inside of you. And this is something that Andrew and I have become experts at. And it's so beautiful to see the men in our program who start out really feeling empty and low to just spiraling upwards into this high vibe vortex of positivity, to where really people can't bring them down, and they're enjoying life. They're living life. They're not hiding anymore. They're getting out there.
Like, people are approaching them, talking to them, and noticing them when, like 3 months ago, they didn't think that was ever possible.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing. It's something that took Andrew and I years to figure out, years to put together. Lots and lots of trainings and certifications, and something that we've really grown to love. I think it's amazing that we get to work together and really help people feel complete with who they are, so they can have a relationship like we do, which is by far the most valuable thing that I could possibly imagine in my life is this right here, this relationship. And I'm so incredibly grateful for my amazing husband. But again, you don't have to be in a relationship to thrive. You start thriving on your own, and then that's when the fireworks, the magic starts to happen. So is there anything else you'd like to add, my love?
No, love you guys. And
let's see if we have any questions.
Why
do you think, Andrew, Robert asks, Andrew, why do you think you're clingy? Like, why do you think you're that way? It's a great question.
Yeah. So, it all comes down to core wounds and limiting beliefs. So, it's what, So one of them is
when
there can be beliefs that some people feel like, oh, I'm not loved, I'm not worthy, I'm not loved. And that's something that I've struggled with in the past, and something I still struggle with today, even that, I have to check myself. I still have my own fears and challenges and voices in my head, and it's up to me if I give power or not. So an example for me, and there could be 1,000 reasons for something like this, but like if I'm having thoughts that say, oh, I'm not loved by Zach as much as I love him, then it can make me clingy because, oh, I need you to show me love so I can know that I'm loved. So that can be one major cause of clinginess and neediness, is needing that external validation is what it is.
Yeah. But I've noticed as you've grown, those occurrences happen much, much less frequently. I remember when we first got together, you'd frequently ask me if you were annoying me or if you were bothering me. And I was kind of surprised that, you were feeling that way, but it's based on a core wound that you've learned to address more and more. And a beautiful thing is because we'll always be triggered. There'll always be events, because all we have control over, guys, is ourselves and our thoughts and our feelings and our actions. We can't control stimulus outside of our body in no way. And sometimes triggering events are going to happen, and they can spark that subconscious self-doubt. Oh my gosh, I am not loved. People don't like me. But the thing is, you can dwell on that. You can stay in that place for minutes, hours. We've had clients who before working with us would stay there for days. But this is something that Andrew's been able to recognize and then choose, you know what? I don't want to feel this way. I have responsibility of my thoughts. I know that that's a bullshit story. I'm not giving my power to it. And he's able to snap out of it really quickly. I still get triggered from time to time, but I've recognized that I'm not going to give my power away. I'm not going to allow myself to be a victim.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Brian says never stop growing. So true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to wrap this up, guys. Really appreciate y'all joining us. Whether you're joining live or catching the replay, definitely feel free to type some comments down below. Just say hi, send us some hearts if you want to. And yeah, we'll be taking a lot of pictures and videos in New York. Really excited about this and can't wait to come back and talk to y'all again real soon.
Bye, guys.